The advocacy for freedom, respect for human rights and environment of Tibet and elsewhere is a campaign for the people around the world to speak up, not for the people and places suffering injustices, but rather to take a strong stand for justice all around the world. Calvin Liu, a student of political science and cultural anthropology, who is the elected delegate of the Young Liberals of Germany to the International Federation of Liberal Youth Congresses, has introduced a motion on freedom and independence for Tibet during the 51st International Federation of Liberal Youth's General Assembly that was held in Amsterdam last month. We are pleased to invite Calvin Liu from Berlin on today's episode of In Conversation with Tibettv. Hi, Calvin.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So, Calvin, can you briefly introduce yourself and your political party and the background of proposing this motion at the General Assembly?
Absolutely. I mean, you did an amazing job introducing me. So I am studying political science and cultural anthropology, but I'm also part of this delegation to the International Liberal Youth. As you have correctly stated, the Young Liberals, or the party that I'm a delegate for, the Young Liberals operate in Germany. They are the youth wing of the FDP, the Free Democratic Party that is currently in government. And therefore, a lot of the things we do is centered around, well, German politics, but also we are often going into international politics and trying to have an influence on our mother parties. I was inspired actually by the delegation visit of Sekyong and the Minister for Information and International Relations and part of the government of the CTA. So they came to Germany with the Naumann Foundation, and they did the trip to Munich, Frankfurt, Berlin, and to Brussels. And I got to be part of that delegation and met a lot of interesting people, talked about the issues regarding the Tibetan people. And therefore I was inspired, but also a lot of the young liberals that your delegation or the delegation of the CTA met were inspired. And that's why we wanted to do something. And that's why I came up with the resolution and brought it forth at the IFLRY Congress in Amsterdam.
The motion titled Freedom and Independence for Tibet, it makes a 5-point call of action, or say an appeal upon to the Chinese government and the international community following observation of tense human rights situation in Tibet, massive exploitation of its ecology, and the lack of access to the country. Could you briefly elaborate those 5-point call of action, please?
Absolutely. So the big well, one of the big points in that resolution is that there should be diplomatic relations established with the CTA, and we're also calling for all peace-loving nations to do that. That is one, or maybe the big point of that resolution. But also it is to call on the Chinese government to lift all restrictions that prevent, well, open access to Tibet, if it is for diplomats or like tourists or lawmakers, whoever. That is one of the points, and also we are calling for the Chinese government to stop its sinification efforts in Tibet. I mean, I don't have to tell you about it. You're very, very aware of the situation. But after we talked to the Sekyong and to a lot of other people of the delegation, and they brought forth those issues, we thought it would be very nice to address them. Also, one of the issues that was talked about a lot in the delegation visit was that there should be some scientific research on the impact that climate change has on Tibet, known as like the third pole, and obviously the source of many of the biggest rivers in the region. That is something, for example, I did not know beforehand, but as liberals, we're also very interested and very concerned about climate change and the environmental impact. That's why we also included it, and also to give the UN something to do. As we all know, it's very tough for them to be decisive in other areas of geopolitics, but that is maybe something we can all agree on.
Right. So many people who are friends of Tibet, who are human rights activists around the world, feel that nowadays the awareness on the situation of Tibet has gone many steps backward, even in this very highly globalized and highly interactive world. tell us about your experience of introducing this resolution, this motion at the International Federation of Young Liberal Youths General Assembly, and what was your observation? How was the reaction of your colleagues?
So the reaction was very, very positive, I would say. But I would completely agree with you. Obviously, some other crises that we currently have in Europe, if it is energy or Ukraine, there are a couple of things that sometimes grab the public eye a bit more. But that does not mean that we have forgotten about Tibet, and especially of us young international liberals who are hugely politicized and who are also very familiar with the topic of Chinese aggression. To us, it was a very important resolution, and that is why it is passed. The only discussion that was there beforehand, and that we kind of worked together with the Young Democrats of America, was a question of if diplomatic relations with China on the highest level should move on, because one of the points in our IFLRY calls for section is that there should be that those who have this very negative impact on Tibet, that they should not be dealt with diplomatically, that should be ignored. But that can obviously not really work for the highest level of government. There has to be a way for our chancellor, the German chancellor, to meet Xi Jinping to talk about especially issues like that.
As we talk about the International Federation of Liberal Youth, which has a vast network. It holds a full member status to the Liberal International European Youth Forum, which operates within the Council of Europe and European Union. So they also work closely with these bodies, right? So how hopeful are we about the impact of the resolution?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, as somebody who's doing politics in his youth, and youth politics in general tends to be not very consequential. But the beauty of international work is that there are so many people who can be stakeholders, right? We met in Amsterdam, and in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, there is a liberal prime minister, Mark Rutte, right? So the chances of kind of going up to your mother party and talking to them, and for example, I know that for the FDP of Free Democratic Party here in Germany, they have a very similar opinion about it, but they are maybe a bit more bothered by how you would work that into very complex geopolitical situation, right? But I do believe, and it has happened in the past before, that a lot of resolutions and a lot of opinions of the young people in my youth wing, for example, have impacted the line of our mother party. So I do believe that, for example, the Young Democrats of America or the Young Liberal in the UK, we had our last Congress in Dakar in Senegal. I think that all of those, they see this resolution, they think about it. I obviously talk to them about my experience with the delegation from the CTA, which was amazing. Also, a lot of my colleagues who met them were blown away by how nice, how friendly, even in this very difficult situation, everybody was. And I do believe that there's a real possibility for change, and we might see a lot of we might see some forms of diplomatic relations with this CTA. Maybe not all out at the beginning, but for example, our political foundation, the Friedrich-Naumann-Stiftung, has had brilliant connections with the CTA and with the Tibetans in exile for a long time. And I think the German government should and maybe even will follow suit.
How do you see your party moving ahead in favor of Tibet in the near future? Or would there be any follow-ups regarding this resolution that has recently been passed?
Yeah, that is an absolutely important question, but I think it's a bit difficult because obviously China is a huge economic partner of Germany, as was Russia. So we are hugely aware of the impact nations like this can have, and that we should never become too reliant on those nations. The problem with Germany and its huge economic prosperity based off, obviously, also products from China and trade with China is that we have not been careful enough, and now we're in a situation where it's very tough to make like a big impact on it. But as we have seen now after Corona and after For example, the shortages in China and the way they don't produce a lot anymore. It's like there has been a lot of economic change going on. There's huge inflation in Germany at the moment. So a lot of people wake up to a world where they say, oh, maybe we should go away from China and find new partners that are more democratic and that can be relied on, that are not systematic like opponents of yourself. So I think there's a general shift in German politics, and I am very sure that the FDP, my Liberal Party, will be at the forefront of that.
Thank you so much, Calvin, for your time and for being with us here today. Thank you. And congratulations on the resolutions being passed.
It was my pleasure. I could not have hoped for anything better. It was anonymous after we made that little change, and I have been contacted by a couple of people, even people from the parliament, from your parliament, and even your minister, who have been very happy with that too. So I truly hope that the young liberals and, for example, the Tibetan youth are going to cooperate in the future and have some very nice, a good friendship going on at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Calvin.
Thank you.
So the International Federation of Young Liberals is an organization that is made up of over 70 member organizations from across the world that undertakes various programs related to activities including climate change, free trade, human rights, and gender equality. And the good news is the resolution titled Freedom and Independence for Tibet, introduced by the Young Liberals of Germany, has been passed by the International Federation of Liberal Youth.